All right, so what I think makes a really good track is the way it leads into the most important bit. It needs to be something that builds tension, but not take away the focus from what's about to happen. I have certain way of doing stuff that maybe not too many people do anymore. This is sort of like an old kind of style to do stuff. I work based out of two buses. So I have the bass sidechain bus here, where I have like the sidechain for the bass, which is a little bit more, it's heavier, just to make sure that the kick and the bass like let each other breathe, put it like that. Uh, and I also use a fab filter here, and I'm going to show you why I do it. Um, so let's go in here. This is when it starts. This is when it builds towards the drop. And the reason I wanted to introduce the bass without technically introducing the bass. So here we go. So here is all the bass layers that we already checked. See, I've taken down quite a lot of the volume, quite a lot of the bass, because feel it? I'm taking away the low end right now. And the reason I did that is technically just to build suspense. On this thing, you can add whatever you want to this bus basically, and automate it. For me, I just wanted to have like a little bit of a teaser moment to show the bass, but without showing it, and also keeping it powerful enough to make sure that people will hear and feel what is going on. But like I said, you don't want to, what's it called again? Give away the cow just yet. I know that actually was a reference to something else, but I just implemented it in music production. And what I find extremely important is to not have a full side chain on the bass when you do this, because it's in the break. It will be a little bit too abrupt having like the ducking coming in. So I have 50% on this. Let me take away this. See? It's subtle. If I take away the side chaining, like again, you can hear it, it just goes there. Like, or if it's too much, it takes away a little bit of the drive. You want to hear it, it's still there, but you don't want it to be you don't want to be full on, because it's just gonna sort of like stab you in the face. So that's why I always tend to automate the strength of the side chain. Remember, like here, like that's why I did it like down here to around 50%. And also, if you want to, you can like take it all away before it drops if you want, because now you're taking away a lot of frequencies from it anyway. So basically, if you take away a lot of those frequencies, it will get lower in volume. But I still think having a steady flow is sometimes better. And that's just like the bass bus. The real magic that creates like the atmosphere will be from the lead bus. That's where I have a little bit more stuff here. For example, like I use the Effectrix to add reverb, which is technically a stutter program, but you can use it as like a yeah, like a reverb thing or delay or chorus or phaser. It has it all, and I love to use a lot of automation. It looks a bit messy if you look at it like this. You see all these lines and everything, but in the end, it's definitely worth it, and you'll hear why in a second. First, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go here and just take away what we did here, and then we're back. So now it's back to that, and I'm gonna show you the lead bus, which is technically almost every single sound except for the bass. The reason I like to also not use everything on one is because sometimes you just want a few things to have effects on them. Maybe you don't want, like, if you add like reverb to like a bass sound, you have to automate at least double it because you have to remove a lot of bass from it. On the lead sounds, usually I've already removed and like high passed like a lot of the leads because you don't want too much bass on the lead. So let's see here. I'm very sorry for my sniffles. I'm a little bit sick. I blame air condition. Here you can see it. And again, this is the main leads, but you see here, this is the volume. This is the volume of the leads. You don't want to have like a full set of volume on it immediately because, again, you don't want to give away the cow. You want to make sure that this builds enough suspense, people can hear it, but it can't be too powerful because you want all this to lead into a huge drop. Let's filter down. It's a filter on it. Reverb to make it wide. And I use the filter to even like high pass it too, to make sure that there's absolutely no bass or no like powerful punching elements just before it kicks in. You want it to go to a point where you can actually you just go nuts. This is the go nuts moment. This is where everything comes together, and you want it to have an impact that is unmistakable, like an impact that just makes you go nuts. And doing some more automations, adding some extra elements to it, like this reverb to make it a little bit wider, to make it a little more spacious. It's almost like it's drowning, and then it's coming up for air, and it all ends up into one big drop. So now we're gonna start, and I'm gonna play this whole thing with everything in it, and you can hear how it like comes to the drop. You can see how much of an impact it does. As soon as that comes in, it becomes a bit loud. I have like the volume is back on both the bass and the lead bus, and also this doesn't lose power because I used, as you can hear here, the vocals. Of course, I made this a little bit more spacious with some more reverb, a little bit of stereo enhancer to make it more wide, and just like it's about creating like this huge whole environment. This is, I think, if you do this like even in a small club, you can still feel like the club getting bigger, which is sort of like the plan of doing all the widening with the stereos and stuff. But again, you can also see here I'm going down in volume. So technically, this is what the vocal is. See there? It's at value 0. Like, so the volume here is actually 0. And when this starts, I go down to 4. So it's still a little bit lower. It's not too harsh because this is the moment you're building down. And then you're building up. It actually goes even further down because you just want it to all like, how to use the word, culminate. And so there's 4 things I use here that for this as well, that to give it that extra feeling. Like a lot of people do, like a lot of pitch rises and everything. I don't think a lot of pitch rises is always the solution, but when I do, I usually make my own. So here we have a little bit of like noise and everything that comes together with this thing. And basically, these are kind of low in volume as well because you only want them to be like sort of like a feeling. They're not supposed to take over the mix. They're supposed to be a feeling, so you can feel something is going up underneath, but it's not supposed to overtake the song. Um, and all of these elements combined makes for the drop to sound a lot more massive, and that's why you don't have to use that many elements as well either, because already now, like I said, we already have quite like we only have a few elements. That we have like kick, snare or clap, and a loop, and then the bass, and then the lead, and that's it. Like it's very basic. It's very like straightforward. You don't have to use a ton of sounds. So yeah, and I think it all gets emphasized by the fact that we are taking down a lot of the reason why this sounds so good when it drops. So just remember that when you're doing this, make sure you don't give too much away before it comes into full effect.